Welcome, everyone. I'm Brenda Edwards, and I've been on the path a very long time. And I'm excited to start sharing these teaching videos with you. So today, I'm starting to change my branding. I'm very excited about this because my whole direction forward is really about the rose and the divine feminine and teachings that are all around that, how you can live your life in these new experiences and pay attention to how you move through opening your consciousness more and having a happier, healthier life. So, we're going to start at the beginning. Why the rose? Well, the rose has been a symbol of ancient times and the divine feminine. And, people often think that the rose is all about romance, and that's just one part. The rose is also about the divine feminine, what it represents, awakening to the soul. So the symbolism of the rose is really important. So we have different layers. And just like the petals on a rose, each petal represents something. But the core teaching is about opening up your consciousness and living as a divine feminine human being. Now, I just want to say this. I'm sure many of you already know this, but when I'm talking about divine feminine, it doesn't mean that it's all about the females and we're leaving the males behind. No, every one of us has inside of us has a divine feminine and divine masculine. And many women that I know have been working out of their masculine side for so long, some because they've been alone raising children or whatever, and they've had to be strong and all of that. Not to say that the divine feminine isn't strong, we know better. But the men have to wake up too. We can't be on a planet where all the women are awake and the men aren't waking up. It's actually my biggest complaint from women when they come in for a reading is that they're like, my husband doesn't get it, or my boyfriend's still sleeping. And we were sleeping once too. So it's important not to judge and to just be in a place of holding space for them, right? We want to have space for them that they can grow into. The best way that you can do this is to have you wake up yourself. Once you're awake, you hold a vibration and a frequency that allows them to start making a change. You cannot shove this down someone's throat or make them shift. It's going to happen one step at a time. But what I do want to say to you is, in these new energies, holy cow, people are shifting like lightning. So, what used to take someone 10 years to go through spiritually is happening so quickly. It's like, oh my God, people can shift, over 1 year and play catch up to where you are. So, it's important for us not to be in our ego about it. But getting back to the rose, think of a full bloom rose. That center core piece way inside is about love, period. This is about love, not just romantic love. This is about self love. How many of us love everybody else and we forget ourselves in the equation? And then the other piece is that it's about divine love. Many of you know I have a deck that I created this year called Fully Divine. It's about having one foot up there and one foot down here. We're in physical form. So to bring the teachings that we know and be the living example of the rose is everything. And so it's really important to remember this, that as we're learning more about this, each petal unfolds until it mirrors the layers of the soul and the consciousness that has to awaken. And why do you think everybody's attracted? Not everybody, but most people are attracted to roses. Okay, it reflects our journey as a soul and how the soul unfolds. And it's important to know that, or to note that this doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey so you can understand. Ever since I was a child, I knew there was something greater. I didn't know at the time what it was, but I was always loving. And I was the one in school that was friends with everybody, the kid that nobody liked, and all of this. I just knew love was all there is, even though it sounds a little corny or like a song, but I knew it in the heart of hearts. I remember going to church when I was probably 12 and at Easter, and the priest talking about Mary Magdalene in a derogatory way, and that she was a whore and this and that. And every cell in my body was like, why? Why are they even saying this? I knew. And what was that? That was cellular memory that was saying to me, no, that is not the truth. And furthermore, I'm looking around in church going, does anybody else think this is weird? That who would be saying that in a holy place? So that was my first real shock about this isn't right and it doesn't feel right. And I know there's a deeper story. So whenever you feel like this in your life, that something's not right, trust it, because there's always a deeper story. And you have to kind of become an investigator in your own life. So fast forward from there, I learned most of my lessons in my relationships with men, because that was on some level what I was signed up for in this lifetime, as we all are, with our own lessons and learnings. And I learned the many faces of what love was not. Love was not sex. Love was not betrayal. All the different things that I learned. And what was it doing? It was pushing me back inside myself, because that was so important. It was like, wait a minute. If I can't get love outside of me, where does it come from? Where do I go? And so over the years, I've been able to look more deeply inside myself and know. I mean, this sounds like, the old sayings that everybody says, go within yourself. You have to go within yourself, because love starts here. And that's where the rose starts. It starts opening petal by petal. At first, it's a bud, and in that bud holds every possibility for your life. And it doesn't mean that even though we signed up for certain things, that we're going to necessarily get there. It's a lot of hard work. And people that know me know I've been working on this my whole entire life. From the time I had that aha moment in church, through my near death experience at age 16, and everything that came beyond that. So it took me a long time to get here. But now I hold the template to help each and every one of you to get to where you need to be. And that's important, because we do need people to hold space. But the days of theory is gone. You can no longer read a book about it and get it, right? You can't. You have to go through your experiences. And each experience that you've had in your life that you might call a trauma is absolutely your initiation into the rose path. We've certainly had a lot of that in the past, in those lifetimes, but this is your initiation. So if you've been called to here, whether you've known what I was talking about or not, this is a call out to your soul to start remembering who you are. So with that, the rose has been a symbol throughout history. You have the Rosicrucians, you have the rose on many different scrolls or old what do I want to say, teachings. The rose comes up, or the rose is a picture in the background. Often we see the sword with the rose, the sword representing the divine male, and the rose representing the divine female. You have to have both. And with the rose, we have thorns on a rose, and the thorns are because we have to have boundaries. We just can't go out in the world and be soft all the time, right? We have to be in a place of knowing boundaries. And this, I'm still working on a piece of this. It's been a long journey. And so when we are working on these boundaries, we have to be firm with them. And we have to recognize it's part of teaching others. So that is a big, important piece of the rose. And I decided to start teaching this, gosh, about 6 months ago. I started getting information, and I was channeling certain goddesses that were giving me the information. At that time, my husband was in the process of dying in the nursing home, and I had a lot of time at night to just be. And that's when they started coming in, and wow, they put me through the initiation path so I would understand it. Because, like I said, you have to experience it. You can't just understand it from the mind. And boy, did I. And I learned during this time deeper lessons about love and what love was really about and what it looked like in its many faces that were real. My husband dying and me being there those last 2 weeks, especially, and seeing what he went through. And I never, ever loved him more than I did in those 2 weeks. That was another face of what love really is. So, there are different things in terms of your soul unraveling, or maybe that's not the right word, not unraveling in a bad way, but it's evolution, right? Our souls have evolution while we're here. And we start looking at different pieces. Some of the rose petals are about strength, some are about beauty, and we start to appreciate who we really are. And even the fragrance is the essence of who we are. When you get one of those beautiful roses, probably in your own garden, and you're able to smell them, and that it just takes you somewhere. And each piece of sensory, each piece of sensory things that happen is a direct link to God. When you smell something that's, oh my God, I love that oil or the rose, it takes you, it removes blockages, and you're in alignment with the divine in that moment. So just know that there's so much more, but the teachings come from all the way back to Mother Mary, Isis, Mary Magdalene. You have goddesses that held the vision of all this throughout time. Back in their day, they traveled. Imagine the difficulty of them traveling back then. Isis was seen in Greece and all over. And she managed, I mean, these were trips that went on for months to get there back then. And so they spread the teachings to other women because it was women at that time that were very aligned with Christ and who he really was. And they were aligned with the teachings. And beautiful, beautiful teachings. So as we go through each month where I'll be teaching things, it won't just be about the rose, it'll be about the divine feminine and other things that I feel are important for you to understand. But I'm hoping that you're able to start to get curious with divine love, getting wisdom about this. It's about devotion and transformation, and of course, the sacred feminine. So, different cultures throughout time has understood its symbolism because it's been so important to bring it through in unique ways. The message is all the same, even with religions in different cultures. The message should be all the same, that all there is love. That is the core teaching. And when you're able to recognize that, you start to move and you get inspired and you want to be more loving and you want to forgive and you know, especially yourself. And I know that I've been very inspired by these teachings. So that is what I'm offering up today. And I'm going to share a prayer And I'm going to be publishing my book here shortly, booklet. This is a prayer from Mother Mary. And I know sometimes we don't feel like we're supported by people down here or loved, but this is called Beloved Child, You Are Held. Beloved child, come closer. You do not need to carry your burdens alone anymore. I see the weight you have carried in silence. I have walked beside you in every unseen fear. Every moment you believed you had to be strong beyond your strength. Rest now. Place your worries in my hands. Place your fears in my heart. Allow yourself to be held in the love that has never left you, not for a single breath. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not alone. Even in your darkest hours, I have stood beside you, surrounding you with grace, protecting the light that lives within you. Trust the unfolding of your life. What feels uncertain now is being gently guided towards peace. I walk with you. I place my mantle of protection around your shoulders. I calm your nervous system. I soothe your heart. I remind you that you are safe in divine love. Lean into me when you feel weary. I am always here, always. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So let me give you one little practice that you can do with waking up to the rose. And it's very simple, but do not dismiss it as something that is not large enough, because it is. I've been doing this every day. So you can put a hand over your heart and a hand on your womb. And you start by taking a few deep breaths. This is better in the morning when you're setting your day. So if you pray or do meditation or anything like that, when you first get up, you just stop and you breathe for 5 minutes. So you close your eyes and you talk to your nervous system as you're breathing. In your mind, you're saying, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing you need to fix in this moment. And you observe, where's your nervous system in that moment? As you continue to breathe, do you feel your heart rate slowing down? Do you feel any tightness anywhere in your belly? If you do, breathe into that. And then just allow. I do it for about 10 minutes. And if I look at my calendar or my schedule for the day and I see, oh my God, I have 8 clients and I've got this going on, that call, I just breathe and I say, one step at a time, one moment, and I just let it go. The other thing I do at the end of that is I picture a rose in my heart. So you might think that the red rose is everything to you, and some might think it's pink or white or yellow. Whatever it is to you, there's a reason. And there's actually different teachings for the different color roses. So just breathe. So in this moment, I'm going to do red, and I'm just visualizing. If you're new to this, just imagine that you're just starting to open, that bud is starting to bloom. Don't open it or force it to open, because it's not going to open fully. Just see the petals, see the bud, and just see it starting to slowly open, and leave that in your heart. And if you have an especially stressful day, you might want to do it again in the afternoon. If you get news that, oh my God, I just got audited, or whatever comes through, allow yourself. And the other piece is to just lighten up. We are fully equipped to handle everything down here. We may not remember that, but remember, we never walk alone. We are surrounded with the divine and the goddesses and the protection and the frequencies that we are bringing to life. That is the most important, because everything is frequency. Well, I'm going to leave you with that today. And if you feel called to learn more about the rose, I have several ways that you can work with me, and you can go to my site. The first way would be about getting a reading, and then to learn where you're at and what your lessons are. And then we start moving through. There's actually a path that you can take step by step to learn more about the rose. I appreciate every one of you that's watching this. I send so much love from my heart to yours, and may you have the most peaceful day ever.